Okay, so here's a good example of what I said with fake efficiency. Um, these Theta are packed inside of a road group where they don't really belong, alligator in the corner, so you can see that's not efficient. Um, and these Theta are kind of dictating the length of this row here. If we get rid of the Theta, move them down to roadless, and then pack these gator in one by one more efficiently, we would be able to reduce the entire length of this bottom group, right? That's the goal here. And then put Theta on the outside. But in the nub pattern, this placement is dictated by the buildings in the center. So whether or not you insulate that with a 1x3 or with 1x1 is kind of artificial efficiency, in my opinion. That's not gonna, because it's not gonna change your road consumption. You're still using the same number of roads to connect those center buildings, and you're filling this bottom group with something. So on paper, this group of 1x3s on the outside corner is more efficient than the Rune Garden on paper, but consider your city stats. So Rune Garden is giving me 6 forge points, 20 goods. No forge points, 7 goods. So I lose 1 good to replace that with Rune Garden. 15% red defense versus 12% red defense with a stack of 3 of those. So that's what I mean by artificial efficiency. On paper, this side is more efficient than this side, but at this point I care more about the overall city output, considering the shape of these roads is determined by the buildings in the middle. And obviously you can manipulate this by changing your road group if you need to, but eventually you'll run out of quality 1x1 stuff, and it's just not justified to keep planting 1x1 in there just for the sake of doing it. Like, I could cut this pumpkin in half, cut this jester in half, plant some 1x1, but I don't need the 1x1, and it's going to affect my ability to complete rival tasks as well as the fragments that I actually want, if that makes sense. So this is my layout currently. You can see that I've insulated some of these corners with 1x1, but I only need so many fragments of pumpkins. I do like to be able to produce enough to delete them and rebuild them without wasting a store kit. So I've got a few of these scattered around the city, but I don't need more than that. In other words, I'm not gonna store, well, I'm not gonna store a gator, cut it in half with a couple Rune Gardens, and then fill it in with Tree of Patience for self-aid kits, right? I don't need more self-aid kits. So in that sense, it's kind of artificial efficiency. Yes, on paper, this looks inefficient without a 1x1 on the corner. I understand that, but I'm not going to tank my efficiency or tank my city stats just to gain a couple empty efficiency points.